now, here we go. Yeah, the start, I still have to adapt a little bit, but we are live. Hey everybody, hey everyone in the VOD, in case you watch it on YouTube later, to another episode after last week's launch about building some amazing stuff with Nuxt.js. So let's just have a look what happened last week real rough, and then let's check out what we can do next. Okay, so no, that's still the wrong intro. Come on. Yep. All right, let's switch over here. So we have that transition back, and we are in our browser view. I also brought the new transition that you can see here, so it's a bit faster, adapting to the feedback. Yeah. So let's have a look. We are in the repository of the website, which launched last week. And what happened is that we went through all the code. And in addition, we also built a new feature, which can be found under the Twitch status repository and also in the code before. And the whole idea is that there is a little GitHub action that's running. And the idea is that it will check for the Twitch status every like 5 to 10 minutes roughly by using the Twitch API and some keys. We presented them so that it will then update the latest.json. Right now it's empty because the action did not run yet again. It was last time 11 minutes ago, and it was when I was not online yet. So it can be just a matter of minutes when we run again, and then we have a look if that also works as expected. And the good part is, as soon as we host something on GitHub, like here, this latest file, we can just access that through raw GitHub user content and just fetch it straight away. So all in all, a real, let's say, open source and cheap version of a always running cron job, like every, as I said, 5 to 10 minutes. The minimum, or like no, the max amount of time is really like 10 minutes, and I think it can't fire more often than 5 times. But yeah, so we built that, and then we integrated that on the main website and made even a little mistake. So we can check the commits or the pull request even. So we have this and this. This is what we did on stream as well, where we said, okay, we have some data. We have that endpoint over here. Let me go a little bit bigger. We have that endpoint over here. And yeah, we just use lazy fetch to get the data, refresh that every 10 minutes. And then we displayed it in a little icon. Of course, here we use VF data, and that was a little mistake that I then corrected a bit later. Because, of course, if the object is empty, then data will be empty object and still truthy. So we can just do that in the console real quick. And like right now, data is this, right? And if we cast this to Boolean, then we see that's true. That's not what we want. But if we say, okay, hey, let data is empty object, and we check data.title, then that's of course undefined. Data though is not. And of course, the Boolean of undefined is false. So that's why we do that here. We use data.value because of the whole ref topic, because data is ref as it comes from a use lazy fetch. And then we just check is the title there or not. Data could even be null or fully not available because we use lazy fetch. Then of course it's also falsy. Okay, so that's just a little fix I did here in that PR. And other than that, not much changed. Besides that, of course, some new talks were added and some typos were fixed, and the footer was also edited. So let's see here. If we go to the footer, we have now down all the way here saying code license under MIT, and of course link that properly to the license and also to the repository. So that works out here too. And yeah, a few more talks coming up. Looking forward a lot to Nuxt Nation, which is already next week, an online free conference. So feel free to check that out. Other than that, a few cool ones coming up. City.js will be really nice in Berlin. Vue Toronto will be amazing. Can't spoil much about the talk yet though. And there will also coming up Frontmania, which is also next week. And yeah, that will be pretty cool. And yeah, Next Nation is on next week in 2 weeks, but still, same idea. Very soon. So, okay, here we go. What I did is I added a few issues here that I just copied over from my Notion page. This one's a bit older, but it's still up to date. And what I added were all these here, like set up ESLint, set up type checks and fix types, like some tasks that are definitely good thing to do if you have the time for that. Some performance, some error tracking parts. And I think we can do one of these two actually here. This one could be really funny. And this one could also be quite okay. So I thought maybe on stream we could just tackle that one and figure out a few cool ways of doing that. The whole idea here is if we check plausible, let's say like, okay, let's check where people come from. Then it's like, okay, direct or no refer given. Google also makes sense, right? And then through Dixor.com, which is basically discord.com, but just a typo. And there are quite some people. So, and if you do that, I also showed last stream briefly, we land here, and I'm more than sure that lots of people ask themselves like, what the fuck, what's happening here? So, okay, maybe we should fix that and tell them. And that could be fun to, if I open it again, it's just a very simple redirect, and this adds the ref here, right? Ref, then the URL. So in the code, we could probably check, hey, is that ref set? If yes, show some message, and if not, then don't. For the other one, so for the 109, it's very similar, but here it's about the headers. So when we do a network request here, we of course send some headers. The browser sends some headers, right? So the response headers, of course, but the request headers are more interesting. And here we see, okay, accept language, right? And we have here DE and EN. So in this case, I would prefer German or English. And then it could be cool to just check if the header actually has these values, like German, for example, because the whole site is in English. And just like, hey, by the way, I can speak a language too, which is a nice feature. I think the Vue website partners. No, I think it's about, where was it? Yeah, about team. I think here that was like that for quite a while too, except for English, of course. I don't think there's Germany, of course. Yeah, sadly it's not the case anymore. But I think the Vue 2 docs that was in there, which just says like, okay, hey, in this case, Linusborg is also speaking my language, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think these are two things we can tackle. Not sure about the whole like design part, but that's not that important. It's more about the functionality in this case. So yeah, let's check out the code straight away. I still have, I will just revert that stream and test site open. That's basically when and how I do the preview pictures for like Twitter and LinkedIn and whatnot to announce that. So yeah, very simple. Still didn't come around putting some decent image generation there. Anyway, this is already running. We can just start it again though, just in case. It's 3.7.4, should be latest Nuxt. DevTools could probably get an upgrade to the latest RC. And let's go technically to any page. So because it doesn't matter where you come from, it should only happen on initial request. So maybe we should do that in the app.view, like in here. There are also still a few more to-dos. Interesting. And what we could do here is like, okay, we have this big use set. use schema.org, which is also important, use SEO meta, cal.com loading, and another use header, interesting. Maybe you should join it at some point. Maybe here, check if refer like this, probably, is the website. If yes, show funny message. Okay, how can we do that? I don't think it must be too complicated, but of course we have the route, right? So what we can just do is we can do console log, or we can just do debugger actually here. It's a bit easier. And let's go to the browser again, open the actual localhost website and wait a little bit. And our debugger triggers. So in here we see, okay, we have the route, which is also proxy, of course, but we can still use it in the console. So we can say route.fullpath, for example, and we have slash. Makes sense. Now we want to emulate the functionality of having this ref here. So let's do the same again. Initial request. Here we go. And once again, we can log the route, full path, and we have ref equals, and then exactly that here. We could also log the query, which is exactly what will help us here. So through the query, we can say, okay, if query.ref exists and the ref is the website, then show something funny. So let's do it straight away. Back to code. I would say the easiest would be removing the debugger here and say if route.query ref we say const is Discord typo domain, and then we can do the check. I like to extract that a bit. So if that's the case, then we should probably set some value, or we can even say const message is ref, and then say is. I don't even need a ref here because it's not necessarily reactive yet straight away. So we can just say is the domain. If yes, you should double check the URL, and otherwise just undefined. Okay, we can even put it a bit down here. I still need to set up formatting a bit more, but even that, the default formatting works fine. And now we do like a very simple thing. We have the Nuxt page here, right? We have the footer, we have the nav bar, and maybe we just print out the message here. So in here, you should double check the URL. Of course, we have to still do a bit of designing and stuff. But yeah. So if it's not there, let's check. Okay, fine. All good. Works. If it's there, you should double check the URL. Yeah, hydration mismatches. I was more than sure this was coming up because this is not really good practice. Just dropping that straight here. Probably just wrap it in the div and it should be better. Yeah, perfect. Anyway, this shouldn't stay there forever. Okay, this works out. Let's do one more. Maybe we could tackle these issues straight away, then think about a nice way of showing the toes and have a look. So const does speak German. Okay. This for now. And let's check how we check this. As I mentioned before, we could use the request header, right? Here, accept language. Before we do that though, I wonder if we go to view use, and once again, I'm visiting the site very often. This is just my browser stream profile, so I don't leak anything I shouldn't leak. Maybe let's have a look if they have something like language, because yeah, use preferred language. I'm more than sure because it's also included in the navigator languages. Yeah, I thought so. that's usually why I tend to go for Vue use first and check that out. If there's no very simple own implementation. So let's give navigator languages a try here. And yeah, we have DE, EN, ENUS. These are actually my languages that are set up. That's correct. And language might be only DE. Interesting. I think I would go for, okay, if someone configured the browser to be like in English, but accepts also German, then it's also fine to show that. So I don't want to focus on the main language necessarily. It's more about, do you speak that language? Do you accept that? Because otherwise you probably include a minority that can speak English, of course, but might be interested in someone speaking German. So I would go for navigator languages. And of course, now the big question, do we really need the composable for that? Because yes, it is reactive, right? Do we need the reactivity here? I don't necessarily think so, but let's check the source if they're doing something interesting here, especially regarding the, oh yeah, okay, let's check the window. If the window is not available, so if on server side, then all right, let's just return English, and otherwise read that. And if you change your language, which is probably a rather rare case, then react to that. I mean, the over is not too big. Use event listener is a nice thing that's also reacting on language change. Though in this case, I don't think we necessarily need the full-blown Vue use composable, because I would just deliberately decide to ignore the scenario where the user does language change with the website open. I think then it would be more like a refresh in the worst case. So that's fine. So we can just roll with what we had before and say, okay, oh wait, let me just switch to browser for a sec. So use preferred languages, Vue use, very worth it to check it out. Also dropping that in the chat just in case. Probably all familiar with that already. And yeah, the source, which you can always find down here, which is also great, just shows exactly that. Yeah, on server side, use the default ref of English language. Otherwise, use the value from navigator languages, and on language change, switch that. But yeah, I really don't think we need it necessarily. So we can just go for navigator dot languages dot sum. That was also interesting because let's go back for a sec and check that here, I think. Because here we have DEEN and ENUS, right? So we probably don't want to say, okay, does this include DE? Because sure, but what if it's like DEDE or DEEN, DECH or something, you know, the full local, not just language. That might not be optimal. So we do like navigator languages sum, and we say lang dot starts with DE. I think that's good enough. Now this will definitely throw on the server side. So what we can do is, and what we probably will do, is all these messages, they should not be rendered on the server side. That won't help much because they should, like, I don't know, pop up in something. So we will add these later on in on component that's client only then. But what we can do now is, okay, we can go on here and say, does speak German, and hey, I speak German too. Or maybe that then in German. We'll see. And if we take a look again, yeah, it works. Great. If we refresh now, we get a 500, as I mentioned before, because there is no navigator, right? The navigator doesn't really exist. It's a bit interesting that it throws the 500 here straight away. It doesn't give us any information. Even the console in here doesn't give us any information, I think, because of the error handler I set up. But it's not a biggie because we know why it's happening here. So we'll fix this in a bit. Anyway, the conditions are quite clear. We have this. Let's extract that and let's remove this here. And now it would be very interesting, after we remove this here, it would be very interesting to figure a nice way to showcase these things. So to have some kind of alerts or similar. So I guess the easiest way would be like, let's check what kind of like Tailwind notification, alert, and so on components are there, because I know there are a few. I'll probably just pull something in from Tailwind UI, which I sadly can't show you straight away. So back to the camera for a sec. It is allowed to use an open source though, that's just pretty cool. And we will just get that straight away. I guess it would be nice to have a close button. We don't need an action necessarily. It's more like a very simple thingy. And let's get that straight away. So let's go back to code. And let's create a new component in components app. And let's do notification area. Notification area might be a bit better. We built up a Vue component here. I will just copy paste what came from Tailwind UI, and we will adapt it a bit. Of course, I will juggle a bit so the script setup is actually top. We don't need that import. TS here is fine. This we'll fix in a second, because here we can just say like, okay, icon name hero icons check, what was it? Check circle. And it's from 20 solid. No, it's from 24 outline. So let's just stay with this. The X mark, same idea. Icon name hero icons X mark. This is from 20 solid though. Yeah, okay. And now we have the ref show true. Okay, so far so good. I'll hide a few things here. Now, of course, we have that global notification live region, which should be always rendered. So we set it area live attribute. And then we have the notifications in here in theory. Okay, I will leave this for now like that and just add it to the end of the area of the side, which is probably here. So app notification area. Also here, once again, wonderful auto import. That brings me straight away to the component back again with little extensions from Anthony, which is, I think, go to, could be with Go. Let's see. No. Go to definition. Yeah, that's one. It's really worth it, because that's the only issue, let's say, with the autocomplete. It's really like, yeah, you land in the definition first, but with that one, it jumps straight there. Really worth using. Okay. And let's have a look how that looks like in the browser altogether. Let me quickly switch over. And here we go. It's there. Great. I would say it kind of works. I probably rather wanted to have it at the bottom than on top. And of course, then we style it a bit and we decide what will be shown. And that will be fun. So I will not go all the time back to it, so don't worry. We will just style it a little bit and then show the code at the end. So right here, what we have is we have the items end one here. So now we have it in the middle, which is not what we desire. We want it at the bottom of it. That would be pretty nice. So let's just go here with items end. Show you what I did is basically here on small screens, it says item start. So at the top, I was like, nah, the bottom is totally fine. Because right here, I think it's a bit better fit. Okay. What else? Or like where could we start then? I think what would be very nice is let's style this first a bit more in the colors of the website, and then we can continue with how the messages look like, and also how to fire the whole thing, like how to actually render notifications. All right. First thing first, we have this notification panel dynamically inserted into live region. Yeah. Okay. So this is one notification, right? So we wrote up notification here. We don't have that component yet, which is why it's a bit complaining, so to say. I will remove that info because I think it makes enough sense to not be in there. And I will create a new component says app notification view. Also here, view component. And we'll just bring this back in here. There is no VF show anymore. There is the click show false also doesn't exist anymore. And if we save this and check that app notification, that's okay, that's fine. It in theory should display, and let's switch back to the browser. It does not. Let's see, it is here. Awesome, and it's gone. That's interesting. Do we have any? Yeah. App notification can't be resolved. Okay, that's not a problem. Let's just restart the server for a sec. That should be fixed. In the meantime, we don't want a background of white. We'd rather go with like a zinc 900 maybe. Something darker. So now that the notification is back, yeah, something like this fits through most of that. We might need to increase the Z index a little bit because otherwise the amount of buttons overlaying based on how I did the buttons. So let's fix that. First, let's do, I don't know. Should we do it in the area? Probably like Z50 or something. And yeah, that's fixed. Okay, now of course the text is not really readable anymore, which is totally fine. We deal with that any second. Let's start with the actual heading, let's say. So let's give it, for example, text grade 200 saying successfully saved. Okay, it's a bit too light. Maybe going with like a 400 successfully saved. That looks good. 300 also is kind of okay. And then let's do a more general notification heading here. And with the icon, it would be good to provide an icon and a name for that. So actually say, hey, okay, there should be some props. Of course, this all need props at some point. But now we will tackle that part, the body of the notification. So taking a look at how it looks like it's pretty okay. It's a bit too dark though. So if a 400 is a bit better, maybe even let's try Slate 400. Yeah, I think that's also not bad at all. Okay. Maybe we can go with some, I don't know, light bulb icon first, something like that. I don't think I used the light bulb icon so far throughout the whole thing. Let me see. Nope. I do MDI light bulb on outline. That looks like a good option. Also used for consulting. I don't think it's too confusing. So let's add it here. Okay. take a look at how it looks like. Pretty fine. Of course, color insert has to be adapted. We can do like a text, I don't know, yellow, not 400. But whatever. And now let's just fix the background of the button because that's still a bit meh. I think also here zinc, I don't know, 700 or something could be nice. Yeah, so people see like, okay, I can close it. Of course, right now I can't close it, and yeah, this has focus, which is great, but we also have to adapt the focus because the ring should be more of a like red, maybe 500, and the white is still not ideal. Let's do a ring offset too. Yeah, we can do it like this. I think that's more clear. And maybe don't make the color too aggressive. Be more like an 800 or maybe let's go with a lighter gray instead. Yeah, something like this. That makes clear, okay, you can focus it and close it. Of course, close is not implemented yet. That would be in general very interesting. So let's do that now. But even before that, we should give some props. I think that would be good. So let's go back to the code here. By the way, as usual, if there are any questions, please feel free to just drop them in the chat. I'm very happy to answer them if there's some. Doesn't have to be related to this exactly. So, okay, let's do define props. Actually, you know what? I think I could also get a copilot enable it again globally, because why not? So, okay, what kind of props do we need? Yeah, okay, show is not a prop. That's definitely not correct. But it would be good to have some heading. That should be a string, should be given. Body might be optional, like you don't necessarily need one. So let's do that optionally. We need, I think, some kind of identifier. So we need some kind of ID. Otherwise, if we call the close action here, so add click emit close, which we'll do in a sec, we somehow have to tell which of the notifications emitted that, right? So it would be good to have something like this, close ID. Other than that, let's just replace this straight away. Let's go here with heading, and let's do the body here. And then emit, we still have to define the event. So define emits, and well, I think we can even do a simpler version of that, but I don't have that. So I don't know it by heart. I remember Vue introduced a very nice new define emits, or like in general emit format. I know you can also just do like close here. That's also okay, but it doesn't give give that much type info. So what we can do, according to docs, is we can do this. That's pretty nice. So let's say close, and let's say ID is a string. That's the name tuple syntax. Nice. But it says emit doesn't exist, which is correct. We do const emit is define emits, and now we're good. Now it's also defined. We say, okay, the parameter is the ID, which is a string. Great. Good. Now, of course, our app notification needs some props. So let's do heading, which is notification heading body lorem ipsum whatsoever, and ID. Just give it something now. And if we switch back to the browser, we see the Vue docs that I just looked up, also we see this is still the case. Also, we can take the chance straight away and define an icon, which we can say we have a name and a color. We could do that easily. Color could be also like a color class. There's also a question whether you want to split that info up or not. So you can also do like icon name string, which is like has a default if you want to, and icon class or something like that, which is also there but optional. You can do that, and then we can use like with defaults. Oops. There, and do like icon name is by default this, and icon class is text yellow. That fully works. And now we can say name is icon name. We don't have to define props or something before, and height and width should be the default. So we just set a class to icon class. And still, it should be exactly the same as before. So when we go back to our browser, we'll see, okay, yeah, we have the lorem ipsum, we have this. We still can't close that because it's just one component that's rendered. Okay, so far so good. Let me just quickly update building our own notification components with Nuxt, because why not? Okay, that's a pretty good state. Now, what would be very useful, because that show here doesn't make much sense, is somehow we need notification state. And we could say like, okay, let's write it all in the script setup function first, which I think makes sense. But then we should extract it to some use notification composable, because in the end, you want to add notifications from anywhere in theory, right? Also, one more thing that I want to do is I will add the client.view here, so it will only be rendered on client, because there can't be any notification on server side. Same for notification.view. So we'll just ensure these are not part of the server bundle. They won't be rendered. There's just a placeholder, because these components won't bring us any benefits on the server. All right. And also we can make this lazy. Also very important, because it's loaded below the fold. So that's all fine. All right, there we go. Let's go back to the notification area. And in here, we need some notifications, right? So we have a ref of an array. Let's define a type straight away, type notification. And we have kind of what we had before, right? ID heading body, icon, name, icon color, icon class, but still. So I think it would be good to take that and maybe extract it to types here. So say like export type notification. It doesn't hurt to provide that. And now we can say ref notification, and we have to import. We don't have to import that. Yeah, let's do app notification, because obviously type overrides from the web. That's a bit tricky. So let's import it here. Import type app notification from types, and here we go. So of course, then we should have a function to remove it exactly, and say like, okay, we have an ID, and just filter them out. That's fine. We also want a way to add a notification. So, oops, we push that. There shouldn't be a, for now, duration, because I think notifications mostly make sense right in this scenario without like a duration. We can consider this though, if we make it optional and say like duration string and say string, come on, number, also not there. What the hell? Okay, let's try there. Duration optional and a number. And we can technically say this can be in seconds, can be milliseconds. Let's do duration in ms, in milliseconds, then it's more clear. I prefer that instead of a comment because, well, then you know when you use it already, okay, it's in milliseconds. But what could be nice is 0 to show, to always show, or yeah, to always show. Okay, because for example, that notification for, I don't know, hey, you should double check the URL you're typing in, or hey, didn't you want to go to this and this? That might be good as like infinitely here shown. Okay, so we have that as well, and now it's almost time to technically say, hey, look, let's put it straight away into composable. I want to create a little default here, so we actually see something. So we have this notification heading lorem ipsum ID. The rest is not given. And here, maybe it would be good to just render notification is notification. We'll do that in a bit. We loop over v4 notification in notifications, and we set a key, which is notification.id. So now, of course, it will scream a bit at us because this everything here. Well, we can either say, look, we pass just notification, then the defaults are not that nice here. We can also say, which is a bit nicer, we can just say we bind notification. And based on, okay, this will have a type. Then, oh, that can work out. So far so good. The only thing is now it's a bit annoying that like, okay, you have to keep this in sync with like the actual setup of the notification type itself. So of this one. So that's not ideal. But how about we just do this and import it? Because that works since quite some Vue versions, I think. And now we know, okay, fine. App notifications doesn't necessarily have an icon type, icon class duration. That's great. We're good to go. And if we say like, okay, some of these information don't have to be here, then we don't have to pass it. All right. And now, if we go back once again to the browser, we should still see the same thing. When we now do the following though and say like, hey, let's copy this a few times. And we go, we'll like change the ID a little bit here and there and remove maybe some spaces, not necessary, but still be good. Then go to the browser, we see an error because transition only exactly expects one child element. That's true. So how about we do transition group? I will still see just one thing because, oh. That's new. Okay, that might be because of the type we set in notification client. I will just revert it real quick. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, I will look into that in a bit. This is strange. So I reverted this change here and say to do use app notification type from types.js. Yeah, correct. Because if we do that again, it seems to break, but no problem. I wonder, can we just alias it maybe? Nah, that doesn't make sense either. Okay, for another time. Let's finish the feature. One of the problems that we still have is we cannot really close it yet, right? We see them. Okay, if there's another thing that will be added, let me just do this very manual, like removed. then yeah, okay, cool. So it's not that special, but we should really be able to close that. And how do we do that? Well, we have the ID. We have that remove notification function here. So we can just say, let's put that all on one line. It will be totally destroyed by my forwarding again. Okay, never mind. At click, or no, it's not at click, it's at close. Remove notification. Because at close, it gives us exactly the definition of either ID string any or undefined. And that should work. So if we go back and click, it's gone. Click, click. It's smoothly gone because of the transitions. That's very nice. So far so good. Now, if we add a notification, it would be good though, here, if we say, you know, we don't need to pass an ID. It should be automatically generated. It would be nicer. So let's do omit, and then app notification. And we want to omit ID. And then we push notification and ID. Well, we say const ID is, of course, we can just like use math.random because it's not a crazy important thing, and like map the time and whatnot. And there we are. I think now is a really good time to also extract all of that into composable. So let's do that. We create a new composable called use notification TS. And in here, we just take what we have here, all this, and just say export function use notifications and put it in here. Now, the first thing, save this, and let's give Voller a second to actually check that everything should be auto-imported. If not, no biggie. In the meantime, this wouldn't work like that. That's very interesting for a very simple reason. This is local state, right? So even if we select, let's import that here, right? Let's format that. Here we have the problem. This is like totally local. It means every time you open use notifications, it will create an own ref. So every time you call it, it will be an own ref, and that will work. So we have to actually move that outside. So we could put it here. We find a ref there. And once again, these are the defaults that we can ignore for now. And now we have these functions that operate on that ref that's globally available. So it's kind of global state. Another option, which would be even easier, is to use state from Nuxt. So let's say use state. And the default would look like this. This should be a function then. And a key must also be provided. Let's say notifications. Very simple in this case. So, okay. That's also a way to have like global state, but not the Vue only way, but in this case, it's a Nuxt function. What we do here is we return notifications, but we want to do it as a read only. We don't want anything to change that there. We want only to do this through remove notification, add notification. And of course, what you could do is like, you could define different types, like add an alert, add a warning, add an error, add an info, that all use that add notification as a base. So we could do that, but we stick with the simple case and make it better, because now we have the next problem. Oh, this is all gone. Now we do const notifications and remove notification equals use notification. And we extracted all the content from the setup function in here. Now one might wonder, yeah, okay, is this really necessary? And I would say yes, because latest now we want to add notifications from various different places. Maybe we even want to remove notifications with a certain ID at some point, but that's not our main case. The point is everything that handles the logic of notifications is in here. The presentation lives in here. And we can utilize now this add function, let's say in app.vue, and say, okay, remove that, I remember, yeah. No, let's do an unmounted here. That's even better. We say const add notifications. The notification is use notifications, okay. And now I hope we still have that in the clipboard. I'm more than sure that we have. Yep, exactly. Yeah, this one. Okay. So, I would even say let's define some functions to make it very simple, and say like a function on this ref. So we say if it's not the domain, exactly, we just return. And otherwise we add the message to bit. And same will happen for function on user speaks German, supposedly. Then we say if not, does speak German, we do nothing. And here we can just call on this and on user speaks German. Okay. And now we can say add notification because we had it before, define it here. And say, okay, we add notification with heading. You should double check the URL. Body. Did you want to go to discord.com? Yeah. Now it's a bit like maybe some buttons or something would be nice, but this is for later. So we have this. I can, well, we don't bother for now. And same idea here, doing like add notification. Ich spreche auch Deutsch, which means I am also speak German, or I speak German as well, like that. And say all workshops and talks are also, well, yeah, can be given in German as well. Okay. And if we check it now, like let's remove the default though. Let's remove what we had here in use notifications. Can we like, thanks. Let's remove this part. This is not what we need anymore. So the default can go. And let's refresh the browser, check it out. And we don't see anything because notification value is undefined. Oh, yeah. The default should be an empty array, please. This was a bit too much of the deletion. So let's go back to the browser. Let's refresh. And ta-da! I also speak German, la 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 la. If we now go to the ref, it will say, you should double check the URL. Nice. So far, so good. Let's check how it looks on mobile. Yeah, it's pretty okay. We can remove these. That's great. On refresh to there again, but only in refresh. Like if we close them and I know let's go to articles and back, then it's not there. Now you could even go further and say like, okay, hey, do you want to like sync that with the local storage and say, oh, okay, do I don't know, do I want to show that only once ever or multiple times? Let's have a look. Maybe before, I want to do one more thing in the app.vue here, which is I want to do like an async function and want to wait it a little bit. So let's do wait, new promise. Yeah, resolve set timeout, just like wait 1 second until both pops up, if it both pops up. So that I can go a little bit back. That doesn't look weird. Like it pops up and then it pops up too. Not just like, oh yeah, there's a flood of notifications. That wouldn't be that nice. Okay, good. It's fine. Of course, you could even go a bit further and says const result is on Discord ref. That's not Discord, but return false. Return true. So we can say, okay, let's see if it got triggered or not. And same here. So we say return false, and then we say return true. And the idea is to say if result, then we should wait, because otherwise we don't need to wait a second. This is yeah, just a tiny thing, but could be pretty nice. And yeah, maybe it now makes sense to first also create a new branch, maybe. Check out branch, feed notifications. Nice. So what we could do here is we could check the local or the storage in general and set it otherwise. Let's say const I don't know, const underscore. We will find a name, or to do name me, also good. Is use storage from Vue use as well. And it would be very good to check out the docs regarding that. So let's go to the browser, have a look at use storage. And here, of course, you can use the local storage, session storage, whatnot. But it's not auto imported because of use storage. Yeah, good point. It is auto imported though. Anyway, we'll have a look. So yeah, my storage hide is okay. Yep. All right. Type of storage. Okay. That looks pretty neat. Okay. So use storage is coming from NitroPack indeed. Okay. So let's import this manually, or we can also use local storage, but I think it's deprecated. Could it be? Use local storage is no, it's not deprecated. Okay, then we'll stick with this. The key would be notification I speak German. Let's say that. And the default is false. And here we say, did user receive I speak German notification already? It's super long, I know. Maybe not receive, but see. And then German notification already is enough. Notification German. It's not overcomplicated. Okay. And now we can also say either we move this actually a bit further down, because technically it's only relevant in that function. We'll say like, okay, is this the case? As it's only called in the lifecycle method, it's fine. And we say, well, first we can check if the user speaks German or not. That's the most important part. And then select if that's the case. So if that's the case, then we also return false. Otherwise, we add that and say, did user see German notifications already? That value is true. I thought it returns a value, no? It should be a state. It's a removable ref boolean. Let's check the value here though. Yeah. That's better. Okay. So if that's the case, true, otherwise no. And we can test it out as well. So let's go back to the browser. And yeah, all the URLs, okay. Double check URL, nice. Okay. Now I think it's just loading that picture. And if we check the storage and check the local storage, we have Iconify and we have notification German true. If I delete that, reload it, I'm like, okay, great, perfect. I got the info. And then the next time, I didn't. Yeah, I would say that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure if I really want to hide that because of course people are like, oh yeah, I want to click away that notification. Maybe it would be even better to think of a scenario that only if the user clicks it away forcefully, that then the notification would be removed. That's also an interesting one. So what we want to do is, let's say here, we have that remove notification, right? And it would be very interesting. We only have the ID. And as it's an array, we could just create a callback. So let's say we have on remove, do whatever, and you get the whole notification, which is the app notification, if you want to, and then do something with it. So what you could do instead is, let's say, on remove, and here we could probably do, we could just set it straight away, right? But we could also do it like this. It's not the cleanest way though. Let's add, we have already constants. Let's say export const local storage keys. It's fine. Notifications, notification German, notification German, something like that. And then here we can just do like, you know, window dot or just like local storage dot remove item. This. And before we can actually get that, still over here, here we would use the local storage keys dot notification German, and same done here. So we ensure that's the case. Okay, because then also, sure, we want to check it, that makes sense. We don't want to set it to true automatically. We just want to do it on remove. And here we don't even need, we don't even need a notification because we give that on remove while adding it. We actually have all the information that we want. So we can even say, hey, you know what? We don't even need that here. If we need it at one point, we can add it, but so far I don't think we need to. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah. Maybe that should be even the default for some of the notifications. Yeah, for this one, not. That's okay. Let's see, local storage. Okay, I removed it. Okay, it's there. If I refresh, should be still there. Yep. If I close it now, and refresh it, it's gone. No, it's there again. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Yeah, damn it, because I deleted set item. True. Okay, closing any of these. Refresh. Gone. No. Okay, now I'm a bit wondering. Notification German false. We set here, we set item notification German. True. We just need to double check, but okay, it's totally correct. We never triggered it on remove. Yeah. In here, we get the ID. Then we do const notification index is, we do a little bit complicated. We get the index. Here we do in the end do a splice in a bit. Yeah, thanks. But we also do const notification is notification value, and then we trigger it if on remove. We trigger a callback. Yeah, 10 million more notifications because of hot module reload. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'll switch every now and then. That's true. Closing it. Now this should be true. That's correct. Refresh it. It's not there. Great. So on remove notification, we added the check. First of all, we get the actual notification for find index, just so we have the index and then can splice it out. We don't have to run for all notifications. It probably won't make a difference, but performance-wise, it's a bit better. We get a notification. If there is that on remove, we will call it. So we can even do this if we're really fancying it. Just be like, okay, on remove. If it's not there, nothing will happen. And then we splice it out. And in here, we add the notification, say on remove, remove it. And we have the local storage. We can't really create a reference here, I think. At least I wouldn't do it. But I would say like that's also not that bad. Here we could even say like, you know what, let's just get local storage get item and check if it's there or not. That's good enough as well. So like if it's there, return false, otherwise set it to true. Then we don't even need a composable. Okay. So we added these notifications. I'll go back to this one. So nothing will happen. I think we can add it one more place. So for example, if we take an article here, scroll down, we have this copy link here, right? And it just says copying successful, which is meh. Let's add it there too. So we don't only have one place where to add it, but add it there as well. So let's go to the Slack articles and copy link to clipboard here. We have this show copying was successful. We don't need it anymore. Instead, we need const add notification. And we remove this whole thing and say like add notification. Yeah, link copy to clipboard is heading. Body can be that type success. We don't work with types so far, so we just said icon class. Here I can clipboard check. I don't think that's the case, but let's see. And I can, oops. Maybe I can name. Let's check. It should autocomplete. Clipboard. No, then we'll just do check. Check badge. Not 20 solid, something like that. No, I think check patch is enough. Icon class, text green 500. Now we have a duration that we didn't implement yet. In MS. And yeah, now it can happen as often as it wants to. That's fine. Let's go to the browser and click here. Link copy to clipboard. Okay. Works. Except the duration. So let's fix this. How to implement the duration? Let's see. I think the easiest way would be during add notifications here. So of course we create that. We have this, and we could say if notification, not timeout, but nice try. Duration in milliseconds, then we can just say set timeout. And then we're good to go. So let's maybe not try it with so why is this? Oh yeah. You can just keep this as copy link now. Let's try 2 seconds. Not go too crazy. Link copy to clipboard. Thanks, goodbye. If we spam this, it works. Smooth. If there are any other places where we can do that, yeah, we had lots of actually. Newsletter as well. Like if we do this, of course, that's okay. Example.com. Subscribe. Like, yeah, please wait. Okay, fine. And then thanks for subscribing. Yeah, another useless lead in list. Doesn't matter. That will be cleaned. All example.com will be removed. But while we're at it, feel free to check that out and follow if you want to. There's also a newsletter site actually just saying, hey, there in the footer you can subscribe. So if that's something you're interested in, giving like weekly recaps of what's happening, or like bi-weekly, give it a shot. Anyway, we'll do this here. We'll fix this right away. Not fixing as in here. It's not here. It's in the footer. Like, we'll prove it. Yeah, we have these states. That's really not ideal. I think loading makes sense. That's okay. But the rest is a bit meh. We could still keep the state. I think the state is fine. So state loading, no, thanks. We try this, we catch that, and here also we throw we show notification. It's use notifications, and now we do add notification. And now we can just bring in, yes, something went wrong. Please try again later. It's such a generic error message, but we check the possible error and take this and say like, okay, this is the error message that we want to see. Something went wrong. This is the error message. So it should be error.data message or error.message. Now, of course, error is unknown. So we do const message is, yeah, thanks. Message in error or message. Of course, we need to start with like, oh, let's get let's check if error is an object and so on, so on. I would just keep it very simple and would just do like, for now, at ts expect error, and it to do better error handling. Yeah. Well, also there, you transfer PR. So unknown needs to be improved. Not needs to be improved, needs to be better type checking. Needed, but too lazy on stream. Sorry, good enough. So we do this body. We can just leave the body here. Body is body. I can name, yeah, exclamation circle is fine. Text red is fine. I will not remove this one, I think. Or, well, maybe in like 10 seconds. That's okay. And we don't need the possible arrow anymore. I can remove this in a very sec. And the state is, of course, correct. It's an arrow. Possible error can be removed. And the thank you message, that will also be removed. So now we can do vf status loading. And the velse can go here. And then in here we have the confirmation, and we can also give this a new add notification and put in here almost done. Please check inbox for a subscription. Yes, I prefer this text though, but still. Green check. Yep. Yep. Okay. Back to the browser. Just try it again. Test at example. Might be in already, we'll see. Please wait, and then down here, almost done. Thanks. If we do once again, it might, okay, it still says the same. It doesn't give anything. If we use this, I'm not sure what will happen here. Yeah, something wrong. Already subscribed to newsletter. Great. Okay. It's a little unfortunate that the color is not ideal for the footer though. That's a bit tricky. Because if we have that right here, it's very tricky to distinguish. So maybe let's go back to the notification and change that. So let's try zinc 800. Yeah, that's the problem. Like lots of these colors are used. 950 is not what's used here, but it's a bit dark. You know, maybe we just go for the slate 800 to like have a little, nah. It's like plain gray is also not that nice. And oh, it's the wrong gray. It should be the, yeah. Yeah, because this is a little 700 might be too, yeah, that might be too bright. What if for red 900? Oh god, no. We could probably change that based on whether the user is on the footer or not. It's also a bit tricky. Or we do a bit better. We just give it a proper border. We just revert that. We have the ring black already, right? We have ring black here. How about we just give it ring white? We won't keep white, but that looks a bit better. Ring opacity 25 maybe. Yeah, I think that's a bit more clear. 50 is too much, I guess. Yeah, 25 is good. Now I can actually live with that, being like, hey, there we go. Okay. Great. Implemented. I think here we could even go back because the state now is only used for loading, of course. Then this. This one can stay here. That's also not that bad with like the almost done. That's also cool. But the rest is not needed. Then we can keep it like that. Okay. looks like notifications are checked. We have everything here. I think if we go through the site one more time, like that's just contact, that's won't anything, no. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's that seems reasonable. Yeah. Looking good so far. Now I only just wonder one more thing, but we'll commit that first and then check. I was just wondering why there is no indication on the website regarding the Twitch status, but I have a feeling. Let's commit that first. Let's go back here and commit the changes. Say feed, add notifications, publish the branch, create a pull request. Very nicely done during today's stream. Well, actually right now, create a pull request. And well, we could just say like we merge or like squash and merge it. Though I actually prefer doing that on GitHub itself. So yeah, let's bring that on. Which just happened. And now we check out main. A little bit crowded right now. Let's close everything. And let's check out why exactly the stuff doesn't work anymore. I have a feeling there. So let's go. Where do we fetch that? In the navbar, I think. Here. Yeah, we do a lazy fetch here. And let's say headers, cache control, no cache. I have a feeling that this is a problem. Let's switch to browser. Let's check. Internal server error. Thanks. That's lovely. Because I think I had, yeah. If you start the server 2 times, then that's not a good idea. So now it's up. The browser should be fine. And we send a cache control, no cache. Now let's check. Yep. Course pre-flight. Whoop. What? Response was not available to script course pipe. That's not nice. I remember that worked before. This is really not ideal, but what if we remove the cache header again? What if we do that? So let's remove that. Try it again. HR. Latest. There. It exists. But with the cache control header, it doesn't work. Interesting. Probably because if we set the headers, we might have to set accept a content type application JSON as well. Like probably you have to do this. Otherwise it might cause problems. Because the default header should be JSON, but no, also here, no. Interesting. The options header already says nope. Weird. Okay, let's check that out a bit more. First, I will remove all the headers again. And let's just refresh one more time. Now it says it's there. We have the title, but it doesn't show things. That's also interesting. I don't have the Vue tools installed here. That's a bit meh. But yeah, that's still the OG image. In theory, it should be there. Let's log is live somewhere here. Not live, that's wrong. Okay, let's log data. Yeah. Data title is not there, which is, I suppose, correct. What data is there again? Data value title should be there. Also not. Now I'm wondering a little bit. Because obviously what is happening is we get the request, it works, but it doesn't show the right values. Oops. You know what? Let's watch data for a sec. You can just put in data straight away and new value debugger. Back to the browser. Okay, Firefox is once again. Here we go. So new value of data is everything we want, right? New value title. Okay. Yep. Okay. Sure. It's just a string. What doesn't happen here yet is it doesn't transform that at all for some reason. Though it should be a JSON file, so they should know anyway. Can we response type? Can we just type in JSON here straight away? What happens now? Let's go back to the browser and find out. Debugger, new val, value, I guess, or just new val proxy. Title. No, there we go. Okay. For some reason, it didn't detect it automatically. Very interesting. But with the response type JSON, we can fix that. So now it should give this live now. Okay, that works. Great. I still wonder why the whole thing is cached though. Like, what headers are being sent? Okay, plain, it's cached. I mean, it's cached max H300. It's not cached for that long. It's like with 5 minutes. It's okay. Yeah, served by which cache and so on. What do we request? Okay, you know what? Let's keep that in here. What if I do disable cache? It should give the newest value more than sure. And let's see. Yeah, this time it's not cached and still says 800. That makes sense. But how can we let's just try that. How can we send the header so ensure there's no caching? So we can probably just set this plus the cache control. Oh, but that already fails. Now I'm wondering which headers. Probably they don't allow any of these. Okay, then we leave it at that because 5 minutes caching is not that problematic. We fetch every 10 minutes anyway, so it won't be really the case. Maybe we just move it down to 5. And then we basically come roughly to the same result. So let's do once again another branch, fix Twitch live status again. Yeah, commit message doesn't matter. And here we go, saying fix Twitch status, provide response type. Response was, and it still makes sense that it didn't work before, because before it wasn't text with an empty object. So basically it was like this. Was not returned as JSON, but plain text. Okay, let's create that. Let's go to the browser here as we are, pull requests. Squash and merge. It should have this title though. Also here, refine GitHub is not installed. Okay. It was before like this. Okay. And here we go. Okay. I think we're good for this stream. I think we achieved quite some. We built the notifications that we wanted to. We eventually fixed the whole portfolio scenario as well. The downside is we can't like see it straight away, mainly because the build takes a little longer. But what we see definitely is that it works on localhost. So here, which is correct because we're live now. So yeah, last but not least, if wow, you haven't seen this, or like why don't I just use the link down here? Today also came out a new video about Nuxt 3's auto imports, so I can only recommend it too. And also some questions there that I will answer right away. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you see the VOD on YouTube right now, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy all the content. If you have any suggestions on what to do next, what you want to see, then yeah, write a comment, ping me on, I don't know, X, Mastodon, wherever you feel like, and we'll make it happen. Okay, have a good time. See you very soon, most likely next week, and talk to you then.